So here's my finished website. I can say that I have met my objectives of creating a website for my future 7th graders on the unit of ratios and proportions. This unit is aligned to the state Common Core standards. I will use this website to supplement the unit that we're doing in class. When creating this website, I made sure that it was supported by 21st century skills. I want my students to be able to think more critically and become good problem solvers. Through this website, students will be able to watch videos, play games, interact with one another through blogs, projects, and they'll be able to use different digital tools which are going to be explored in the classroom beforehand. Also, accountability is going to be really important when it comes towards the final project, which I'll show you soon. So this is my home page. On this page, I basically just have announcements, my contact information, and a Voki character on the bottom which speaks once you click the button, just to provide a welcome message for my students. Here's the About Me page. It tells you a little bit about myself. I also decided to include some pictures to make my website more personal, to show my students who I am outside the classroom as well. And I also included some random facts about myself. The next tab is the calendar. On the left side, instead of putting like the actual calendar, I decided to break it down into months and include all the important dates that are coming up. For example, any projects, tests, quizzes, permission slips, any of that sort of stuff goes here. As time goes on, I will add on to the calendar. So rather than adding everything from the beginning, it could be overwhelming, so I slowly add it as it comes closer. On the bottom, I have a place for student work. Since this is a website for my future class, I don't have any student work to show right now, but this is where it'll go. On the right side, I have my parents' corner. Over here, I put notices or anything I want to communicate to my parents about, to my students' parents about. So for now, I just gave them an overview about the unit on rates and proportions. I told them a little about what we'd be learning about. I told them about the blog postings are due every week and what is expected from their children, just in case they're wondering. I also gave them information on the final project and my contact information again. Alright, so the next tab is the blog page. This tab is going to be used, I think, most often. Students are going to be required to blog on this, like go on once a week at least. So on here I included some video posts, I included games, I included other open-ended questions which I would like them to think about and answer to once students comment on them. They're also required to comment back on their classmates, which will get them to interact with one another. On some of the posts, I've required them to use different digital tools such as Voki rather than just typing out their answers, their comments. So this is that. Students are also able to post anything interesting they find or come across that they would like to share with the classmates. Alright, the next page is the final project. This will be done at the end of the unit. Once we're done learning about ratios and proportions, it will be started earlier on. So for this project, students will be broken down into small groups of 3 students each. They will work on this project through Google Docs, so everything's online. They can work from it in class, out of class, wherever. This is where accountability will come into place, because as a group they're going to have to submit one assignment and also make a video towards the end. So the tasks that they have to complete are written here. Also on the bottom I have a button for rubric. Once they click that, the rubric will come up. Each student will be graded on this. So I have everything included in the rubric and then the final grade and comment section. So this is the final project. The next tab is the resources. The tutorials are mainly for this unit, but as we move on, I'll keep adding to the tutorials. So for this unit, students will be asked to create a Voki and an Animoto video. So what I did was I created screencasts for my students so they can, once they click on it, for example, for the Voki, if I click on it, it'll bring me to the YouTube page where is my screencast, and it'll like show them how to do it and what to do as a review. And there's also one to make the Animoto video. Down here, I included a screencast for the final project, so in case students weren't in class or they just want to go back and see what's expected of them, they could watch that screencast also. Towards the bottom, I included some math websites. These are just general math websites that I came across with, and I think they would be really helpful. There's a lot of interesting games and activities on here for students to work through. And lastly, the last tab is for comments. Students are able to have, if they have any comments, questions, or concerns, they could freely write them down. Their classmates, along with me, will reply and help each other. It doesn't have to be about the unit. It could be about anything that comes to their mind. So looking back at this website, everything we read about in this course and all the projects I had to do helped me a lot in this. I couldn't imagine like doing this website before I took this class, but once I learned all these things, like ideas just kept coming. So one of the most important things that I really liked was the screencast-o-matic, which I used to make my screencast. I didn't really want to make all these recordings, but I realized how helpful they were and like how much they could help my students. So I started making like small tutorials for the final project and for all the little projects that I have them doing. Also, in this class, we learned about different digital tools. So the Voki and Animoto video, I included those. I feel like these little tools can help engage students and enhance their learning. Also, when coming up with the actual website design, from the heading to the subheadings, choosing the font style, the size, everything has to be thought out and done. Even like the color and the background to put on, I made sure I had one like main color and then a few more colors so it wasn't too distracting, but it was appealing to the eye. Also, I had to add images on here, and I feel like another big thing I learned was less is more. You don't need to fill all the spaces in and add a lot to make it look complete, but having less, but the way you format it, organize it, can really make a huge difference. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll be adding more onto this website as time goes on, but for now, this is what I have. Thanks again.